In a way, court systems are kind of creating some fatherless children just by a certain stipulation that they do.
Voice TV.
When I sat my kids down and told them that me and their mother won't be together for whatever reason, before we was getting divorced, that was by far the hardest thing I ever did in my life. They was crying, I was crying. I'll never forget their face. But when it comes to divorce, and then when you call it child support and custody and everything like that, I feel it's very unfair to the men. And I want to preface this whole thing by saying I'm not against supporting my kids financially. I'm gonna take care of my kids financially in some aspect for the rest of my life. But it's just the child support system itself, for one, is outdated. Like I said, it's unfair to the men, and it focuses more on enforcement than it does involvement. I can be paying their mother $3,000 a month and never talking to my kid. That doesn't make me a good father. But at the same token, I could be spending time with my kids every day, talking to them every day, and showing them the values of life and teaching them the values of life. And I feel that's more important than giving their mother $5,000, $6,000 a month or whatever. I mean that's kind of a high number, but that's just an example. Basically, it's a system that if the mother wants to take advantage of the father, they can. It's set up for that. And I say it's outdated because a lot of people don't know this, but the child support system was really created back in over 100 years ago, like back in 1910. And back then, it was a crime for a man to abandon his family. The dynamics of the family back then in the early 1900s was, the man was out working. They was a breadwinner. The mother was at home taking care of the babies, taking that household and everything like that. Not only because that was how the dynamics was, but the workforce was very unfair to the women. It was kind of frowned upon for the woman to work. So they didn't have any financial means. So if the man left the household, they was legit. They didn't know what they was gonna do. So, that had to be why they made it a crime, because a lot of men was doing it. But now here we are in 2019. The dynamics is a lot different. And in some households you have not only are women working. Granted, there are some households where the mother is still staying at home with the children, but it's not very common now. In most households, both the husband and the wife is working. In some households, the wife is actually making more money than the husband. But that doesn't matter. In the child support court, they're still going off this premise that the mother's staying home, the father's out making all the money, and it really don't matter what type of documentation that you show. And like I said, from a personal standpoint, I can say it's not just something I heard. This is something I know. I went through it, and I was kind of flabbergasted of how things was going, and when I was going through all this. They was trying to get me for back child support and stuff like this, even though I had documentation that looked like this is everything that I've been doing for my kids. Basically, criminal court and civil court, which is family court, it's a lot different. In criminal court, you have certain constitutional rights. Some called perjury. You can be charged for lying. But in family court, that's totally different. The mother of your children can say anything about you. She can make you seem like you're the scum of the earth. And even if it's proven that what she's saying is lying, like for instance, she's saying, you haven't been getting adequate support, whatever. Okay, you show documentation refuting what she's saying, and it's proven that she's lying, nothing can happen to her. It's kind of crazy. I do feel that it's mostly the good fathers. When I say good fathers, the fathers that are being active participants in their children's lives. Following their education, talk to them every day, and teaching them what they need to know in life. I feel we are the ones getting taken advantage of by this system. And just like I said before, I have no problem giving financial support for my kids, and which I already was. My whole thing is when the courts have to get involved with when you're already doing what you're supposed to do. Because my premise is, you know, when a mother goes to court and files child support papers, she's alleging that you're not doing what you're supposed to do for your children. So I feel if I can refute what she's saying and I have documentation showing that not only is she lying about me not giving adequate financial support, but I'm giving emotional support too. And as like I said before, you know, the courts, they just focus on the enforcement. You know, they're not looking at the involvement. And I feel if the courts want to get involved, they should implement that too. They should implement some type of, okay, yeah, you have to pay X amount of dollars, but you also have to, you know, spend time with your children, you know, and you know, however they want to stipulate that. Yeah, because like I said, that is very important. That is very important to spend time with your children, and not only for a father with his sons, but also for his little girls too. And I have a son and a daughter, and each one of them need me in their life for certain reasons. With different reasons. You know, there's a lot that I can teach them. There's a lot that their mother can teach them. And they need both of their parents regardless. But I just feel the family court system, you know, leans too much towards the mothers, and it needs to be reformed. It needs to be reformed. And like I said, it's nothing against giving child support. It's just the child support system. It's very unfair. And to be honest with you, I don't know how it's legal. I don't know how some of these laws are even in law. Men do not have a voice when it comes to in the child support court. You don't have a voice. It really don't matter. It don't matter what you say. You can have an attorney. It still ain't gonna happen. My attorney told me straight up. I look my attorney dead in the eye. I'm said, you basically telling me that just because she files for child support, she can get it? She looked me dead in the eye and said, yeah, basically. And I couldn't believe that. It needs to be reformed, but at the same time, in order for there to be a reform, women's going to have to get involved in the movement too. Because like I said, we can have 10,000 men start a movement, you know, go on strike about the child, but it's not going to mean nothing. Because like I said, we don't have no voice. It ain't going to happen till we also have women talking about, yeah, that ain't right. That ain't right. And I've talked to a lot of women that really are in agreement with me that it's not right for a man that is very involved with his kids to still have to have court-ordered child support. Not saying paid child support, but having court-ordered child support. I had tried setting up some type of monthly thing with my kid's mother. I tried setting up, you know, some type of dollar amount, but she wouldn't talk to me about it. Why? Because she knows. Because basically, I was trying to set up that was reasonable. She knows that the court is going to set up something that's not reasonable. It's not. They use this formula, quote unquote formula. Where this formula was created, how, I don't know. And I asked my attorney, she couldn't even tell me. But they use a formula, and they basically just go off the money that you make. They don't look at, okay, what's your mortgage, what's your gas bill, what's your car note. They don't look at your bills. That don't matter. Don't even bring that up. There's once your pay stubs, what do you make? Okay, based on what you make, this is what you can pay. But when you have some men that are low income, that starts creating a slippery slope for them, because you have a lot of men out there that sincerely have good intentions on doing whatever they need to do for the children. But when you start adding on these court stipulations, these final applications to them, that if they don't satisfy, they can go to jail. That creates issues, because okay, they're already low income, so they gotta make money somehow, which is working more hours. The more they work, the less time they're gonna be able to spend with their children. So in a way, court systems are kind of creating some fatherless children just by a certain stipulation that they do. If a woman that's bitter, that's the only way that she can get at him, is by going at his pockets. And like I said, the court system allows it. There's nothing that you can do about it, and you know it's not right. So let's say she filed child support January 6, 2019, but it wasn't settled in court until January 6, 2020. Now throughout all this time, I'm still doing what I need to do for my children. You know, they need anything, I'm getting it. But if I didn't have documentation showing that, and okay, let's say January 6, 2020, child support set at, okay, $1,000 a month. If I don't have documentation, I'm gonna have to pay 12 months back child support. So I'm gonna have to pay her $12,000 back child support when I've been doing everything I need to do for my kids. But it don't matter. You can say you was doing this, doing that. If you don't have documentation, it don't mean anything. I have a problem with how they make good fathers seem like they ain't nothing. You know, and I mean, like, legit. Now, there are some fathers out there, you and I know, that don't do nothing for their kids. You probably know a few that they don't do absolutely nothing for the kids. They ain't create this baby. They ain't want to do with the mother. They don't want to do nothing for the children. That is who this child support system is for. Because you do have an obligation to take care of your children. If you was man enough to create a baby, you should have to take care of that child. The system is for people like that. But the good fathers will have. If I'm staying in court with this man that don't do nothing for the kids, I'm staying as him. I'm being held at the same standards. They're using the same formula as they're using for somebody that has no involvement with his kids. Man, this dude maybe not even know what school his kids go to. But I'm being looked at the same way. We both be looked at as deadbeat fathers. It is something that does make me upset when I think about it and everything like that. But I mean, it does need to be talked about. It does need to be talked about. It needs to be talked about more. And then maybe, I don't really know who is at the top making these decisions with the child support system, but and it needs to be, someone needs to take a hard look at it. My situation, you know, like I had my kids over the summertime in a way that is stipulated right now. Even over the summer, I still gotta pay child support. Now, the kids are with me. The kids are with me for 3 months. So within those 3 months, I still gotta pay X amount of dollars when the kids are right here with me. But I still have to, you know. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Anything that makes sense and is reasonable, when you step into the child support court, throw that out the window. They don't hear that. They don't hear anything that's reasonable and makes sense. It don't matter. They looking at it's just about the law. They're not looking at reasonableness. And and the thing is, okay, I'm going to court, and so I have a man or a woman that don't know me, don't know my children, don't even know what my kid's name is, telling me what my kids need and the quote unquote best interests of the child. They like to use this word a lot, best interests of the child. And I still don't understand. I don't really know what that definite definition is. You go to 5 different judges, you probably don't get 5 different answers of what that is. Only the mother and the father really know what the best interest of the child is. And I mean, and really, to be honest with you, I mean, the best interest of my children will be to be with me. But in order for the father to prove that in court, I mean, it takes a lot. It's not easy. You know, people say, you should go ahead and try to get your kids, yada yada. But I mean, it's a lot easier said than done when it comes. It has to be something very traumatic that happens when it comes to the men getting the kids.